Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're breaking down the full card of Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. It was supposed to be previously Kape versus Brennan Royval, but Royval's pulled out with an injury. I think it was a concussion. I'm not too sure about that. Hopefully this card doesn't fall apart like UFC Seattle did. Half that card fell apart. There was 4 new added fights within 1 week. It was just fucking ridiculous, so I just didn't bother with that one. So yeah, anyways, first up on this card here, we've got Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. With this matchup here, Ricardo Ramos is coming off a win against Josh Killabau. He's more of a guy that stays in range, chopping the leg, looking for counters, and did show off a bit of his grappling in this last fight. Josh Killabau did hurt Ramos with a leg kick and kind of rushed it, trying to get the finish, and was pretty much grappled and controlled there in one of the rounds. So Ricardo Ramos is a bit all over the place. He's been submitted a couple of times as well. Charles Jourdain and Julian Rosa did come off a win there against Chavez a while ago and had a loss there against Sabira. So his record's all over the place. Yeah, it's a hard one to pick him, to be honest. So going against someone like Chepe Mariscal, he's a very aggressive fighter. He would try to cut off the range and get in opponent's face, do a lot of clinching, a lot of dirty boxing, and uses grappling and try to get the fight to the ground. So very, very aggressive. Does have pretty damn good cardio as well. So he's on a nice little win streak. Damon Jackson was his last fight, a nice win there. Morgan Charrier, that was a good fight too. That went the distance. Some say Morgan could have won, but it was a great scrap one, that one. So, and they had a TKO win over Jack Jenkins, but that was from a verbal tap out where Jack Jenkins hurt himself and Trevor Peak. So yeah, he's definitely a fun fighter. Chepe Mariscal. Definitely love his style, the way he clinches and very aggressive with his fighting. The way he fights, and but yeah, so the pick here, I'm gonna go for Mariscal, 94%, 6% going Ramos as well. I think Chepe Mariscal should have this one in the bag. Next up, we've got Douglas Silva de Andrade versus John Castañeda. With this matchup here, Douglas is pretty damn old. He's coming off a loss against Miles Johns. In that fight, he didn't really throw too much output. He is starting to slow down a bit there. Showed his age a bit in that last fight. You know, he just mixed up some leg kicks, staying in range and look for counters. He was just really off the mark there. So he does normally mix up his takedowns as well, but yeah, it really does look like he's coming to the end of his career. Going against someone like John Castañeda, he's coming off a loss there against Daniel Marcos. Marcos is fucking tall as fuck for the division, big dude. So John Castañeda here stays on the outside, throws some leg kicks, look for counters, and he does mix up his wrestling and grappling. So yeah, he's not a bad fighter, but yeah, this should be a winnable fight for him. Going against someone like Douglas Silva or Andrade. As long as John Castañeda does throw more output, I think he will get the decision win. And I don't think the takedowns will be that easy, honestly. But I think output here will be the key for John Castañeda going against someone like Douglas Silva de Andrade. 41% Silva de Andrade, 59% Castañeda. I'm going to go with Castañeda as well in this matchup. Next up, we've got Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Temirov. An interesting fight, this one. I feel like Charles Johnson should be getting a higher ranked opponent and not really working down here since it's on a win streak. But I also understand Ramazan Temirov, the UFC is trying to push him because he's an exciting fighter. He's got some KOs on his record coming from Ryzen, so fair enough in those ways. But again, Charles Johnson does deserve a better opponent than this one. But yeah, anyways, it is what it is. Charles Johnson, tall guy for the division. More of a striker, so we'll stay at range, throw a lot of output with leg kicks, pop that jab nicely, use his footwork, stay on the outside and look for counters. Yeah, and his takedown defense has definitely gotten a lot better over the fights as well, I've noticed. So on a nice little win streak, did lose there against Rafael Esteban. But yeah, putting up some nice little wins here. Jake Hadley, Joshua Van TKO. That was actually a fun fight for anyone that didn't watch it. and had a nice win there against Suma Deji. And going against someone like Ramazan Temirov here is more of another striker himself. Throws a lot of spinning shit, and he doesn't really throw too much output. He will stay on the outside and kind of blitz in and throw combinations. So low output, but does have some power in his hands. So one of those type of matches where Charles Johnson stays safe and stays on the outside, picks his shots, gets a decision win, or it'll be Ramazan Temirov getting a KO win. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Charles Johnson here. I think he should be okay. I'm hoping he doesn't get KO'd. He hasn't got KO'd yet in the UFC. So hopefully he doesn't get KO'd in this one. But Temirov is a dangerous opponent. So it's a 50-50 fight. A lot of people are going 47% Temirov. Those are guys obviously watch all these Rising fights. But 53% Johnson. I'm going to go with Johnson here. I think he took this fight to kind of prove the UFC wrong that he could pull off a win with this one. So I'm going to go Charles Johnson. Next up, we've got Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. Also, sorry for the dogs throwing in the background. Andrea Lee here is not really looking good. Andrea Lee, sorry. On a nice little losing streak there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not looking good at all. Her last win was almost over 3 years ago. Very long time ago. So more of a pressure striker. Mix up her takedowns, but in the last couple of fights, she's been taking down herself, and she absorbs a lot. Her defense is not that great. So a lot of split decision losses and unanimous decision losses. Probably more because of her defense is not that great with the striking. So much as she puts it out there, defensively she doesn't really do a good enough job to not absorb strikes. So yeah, it's one of those fights where she's going against someone like JJ Aldrich, where she doesn't really throw too much output on the stand up. She more so will be looking to get the fight on the ground and grapple and look for takedowns. Yeah, so there's not much output with her side. So maybe Andrea Lee could steal this win, but I don't know. I can't really pick Andrea Lee for this matchup because she's on a huge losing streak. But this is a winnable fight for her. JJ's not all that great as well herself, so she's coming off a loss against Veronica Hardy. Did get a win over a year ago against Montana de la Rosa, unanimous, but yeah, had a KO with Nia Liang. So yeah, both aren't the best strikers, but I could see Andrea Lee throw more output, but defense, like I said, is not great. JJ does look for more counters than anything on the stand up, but yeah, output's not there, and should be more looking forward to grappling, get the fight to the ground. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Aldrich here, 83% and 17% going with Lee. So, but Lee, I won't be surprised if she could win this fight. So, if I was a betting man, I'll stay away from this fight. Both girls are not really that great in the UFC right now. So yeah, Aldrich the pick there. Aldrich, sorry. Next up, we've got Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. With this matchup here, Danny Barlow is more of a striker. Last fight, he did miss weight. He did struggle there. Did get a win against Nicolay. Wasn't that pretty. More so, he's a guy who stays on the range. He does target the body well with the body kicks, and does look for the counter shot with his left hand. Obviously, that nickname left-handed god. He gets a lot of knockouts with that. But now if he does come up the rankings, he's going to get some decision wins like his last one. It won't be too good living up to that nickname, but we'll see. So yeah, he did mix up some clinching there in his last fight. Not really staying too much there on the striking. Does mix up clinching. So yeah, missed weight last fight. Not a good look as well. So going against someone like Sam Patterson, he's a guy that will kind of stay on the outside, throw a lot of leg kicks, and look for counters. He does pump that jab a lot, and also he does throw a lot of his straight right hands down the pipe, and also will be if the fight does hit the ground, he's a big threat to set up submissions as well. So he's a very good, not very good, but he's a decent grappler. So he is coming off the win streak. He did Johan, he submitted him, and Kiefer Crosby's not that great as well, but he submitted him. So he is a threat on the ground. So Danny Barlow can keep this fight on the stand up. He could get this win, I could see, but Also, you got Sam Patterson, who's stay on the outside, throw a lot of output with leg kicks and using his jab well there. He more so started doing that after he got knocked out by Yanal. Like, he was aggressor against Yanal Ashmez, and he got KO'd. So yes, he does leave his chin open. So we could see a KO from Denny Barlow, or we could see Sam Patterson point fighting his way on staying in the range and using footwork, point fighting, using a lot of leg kicks and jab, and maybe even try to get the fight down where he could be a threat of getting a submission. Denny Barlow, I don't think he has been submitted on the regional. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Sam Patterson, you can't really count him out. He definitely does have some threats, but Denny Barlow has some decent striking and very good accuracy as well. So yeah, I'm a bit skeptical. I'm picking Denny Barlow, but if you can't get that, I can see him also this. If you can't get this win, I could see it also going Sam Patterson way. So it definitely could be closer than what it looks right here on paper. I mean on fight day, but on paper, a lot of people are going to go Denny Barlow by knockout. But I don't think it'd be that easy, to be honest. I think Patterson's learned his lesson, not being aggressor and kind of staying on the outside. So Barlow 82%, 18% Patterson. I am going to pick Denny Barlow, but yeah, like I explained myself, we could see the fight going to a decision. Next up, we've got Lucas Almeida versus Danny Silva. Lucas Almeida here is coming off a win there against Timmy Kwamba. He did drop him a couple of times in that fight. Got a decision win. More of an aggressive striker. Throws some combinations, some leg kicks, and takedown didn't look too good there against Pat Sabatini. Yes, Sabatini's a good grappling wrestler, and very good on the ground, set up submissions. Not the best striker himself. Pat Sabatini did get knocked out by Philly. Had a couple of wins before that. Mark Triciano. I don't think even Michael Triciano even fights on the UFC anymore. So not really looking that great for Almeida. But yeah, striking wise, he does look decent, but his defense can be poor at times and does leave some openings to get finished, like where Philly did. They're going against someone like Danny Silva. Danny Silva's on a last little win streak. He's coming off a win of Contender Series, still new to the UFC, and had a win against Josh Killabell. So Danny Silva, he's more of a striker as well. But on the last fight, I seen him get tagged up a lot. His defense is not all that great, as much as his decent offensive striking. But I think he'll be more looking to get this fight on the ground and use his grappling, and even try to get a submission here. So there is little details there where he could set up Armada being more aggressive and overextend on his striking and try to find some openings to get him onto the ground there. So Danny Silva could be smart enough to do that, but yeah, I just don't like his defense, to be honest, when it comes to the striking. Danny Silva and Lucas Almeida does show that he can be very aggressive and throw combinations and push forward and drop his opponents too. So yeah, a bit of a skeptical one, this one's, but I'm gonna go with Danny Silva. If he does try to get the fight to the ground, I think he will get a win here. 11% Almeida, Silva 89%. I'm gonna go with Danny Silva on this fight too. Next up, we got Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. This is another fight that's not that great. Montana De La Rosa is coming to the ass in her career, even though she's only 30 years old. She hasn't really been looking too great. Had a win there against Lipsky, 3-fight losing streak against Tatiana, Macy, AJ, and Andre split, which is not that great as well. So she's more of a girl who's very stationary, doesn't have the best footwork with her striking. More so be looking to get takedowns and use her grappling, and got good jiu-jitsu. So, but the striking wise, again, not that great on the offense or defense. Going against someone like Luana Carolina. She's a girl that will be more looking for counters and more looking to target the legs. But herself, she doesn't really throw much output as well. She's more so, a lot of her fights end up being grappling. And if the fight does hit the ground, she does have some good good jiu-jitsu as well. So she could set up submissions on the ground there. Yeah, both girls are just not that great strikers, to be honest. But yeah, at the minute, she's on a win streak, get Luana Carolina, but before that, she did lose to Joanne Wood, split, Molly McCann, not that great. But yeah, it's just, yeah, a lot of her wins, like her win with Carolina, win over Lucy. Lucy's on the arse end of her career, Julia, I don't know where the fuck she's at now. Luana. So he's a low end opponent, so wins Carolina. So I'm gonna go Carolina with a win here. 81% and 19% De La Rosa. So yeah, not a great matchup here. Next up on the main card, we've got Austen Lane versus Mario Pinto. With this matchup here, Austen Lane is more of a wrestler than anything. He is on the losing streak there against Justin Taffa. Got knocked out by Diaz. So it's more so if he can't get the takedowns against these heavyweights, he'll get knocked out. But yeah, if he does get the takedowns like someone like Robillas, which he has the most trash takedown defense ever, but he was overhyped with his striking, Austen Lane ended up getting a win. So Austen Lane more stays on the outside, chopping the lead leg, throws some body kicks, mixes some head kicks as well, then more so looking for counters. And then when there is openings, he will look for the takedowns. But defensively, he has been knocked out a fair bit. So going against someone like Mario Pinto, if you've seen some of his fights outside the UFC, he does have pretty good takedown defense. I think his takedown defense will hold up in this matchup. And I think he pumps out his jab pretty well as well. He's not scared to stay in the pocket. So he will pressure Austen Lane and he will try to cut that range and look for the knockout in this one. So I'm gonna go Mario Pinto as well. I know he's still new to the UFC, but I think he will get this one done. So Mario Pinto's a pick here, 94% knockout, 6% pick and lane. So I'm gonna go Mario Pinto on this one too. Next up, we've got Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Ribovics. Both guys are strikers with this matchup here. Both the guys are strikers. Nasrat, he's coming up a split win against Gordon. He's more of a guy that's has some nice unranked wins, but he always struggled to get to the top 15 himself. He's more stays on the outside and mix up his leg kicks, and he's got a nice jab there too, and also look for counters. And yeah, it's just he's had some close losses. He has fought Bobby Green in the past too. Yeah, King Green there lost by unanimous, and the hand speed was key for King Green in that matchup. So it's a good striker, but yeah, also just can't crack the top 15 there. So going against someone like Esteban Ribovics, he's aggressive striker himself. I don't think this fight will hit the ground, to be honest, unless Nasrat does mix up some takedowns. But yeah, Esteban's another guy that would kind of throw a lot of 1-2s and then mix up a leg kick behind it. He's got that nice combination, so he's more of a guy that's very tall, rangy with striking. And he's going to be, they're both going to be, I think, both going to be putting the pressure on. I think Esteban more so will be looking to move forward in this fight, but I feel like Nasrat's going to be staying on the outside and picking his shots and looking for counters. So I could see Nasrat winning this one, to be honest. I feel like he could get a upset win. Because Esteban's, even his last fight, even though he went to war with Daniel Zilba, he did show a lot of lack of defense in that striking and in that matchup too. He's just very, very aggressive with pushing forward with his striking. So I will go Esteban Ribovics, but I wouldn't be, it's 84%, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nasrat does actually get a decision win on this fight. So a bit skeptical with this one as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go Nasrat. Next up, we've got William Gomis versus Hyder Amil. With this matchup here, a lot of people thought William Gomis did lose that last fight against Anderson Brito. He did get Brito on the ground there in the first fight, which I was quite surprised, considering like I thought Brito's, he looked decent with his grappling and his takedowns. But yeah, got a bit too over aggressive and ended up pretty much getting taken down in that first round there and gave that round away against Gomis. So Gomis has shown off that he can also grapple now as well. But yeah, he's more of a kickboxer, looking for counters, stays on the outside, mixing up leg kicks and looking for obviously counter strikes. And pretty much just point fights to a decision away, and he's got some good takedown defense as well. Going against someone like Hyder Amil. Hyder Amil is very aggressive with throw combinations. He doesn't really care if he gets tagged up, so he'll be looking to throw combinations and try to get the fight to the ground and use his grappling and wrestling. So he's on a win streak. I was surprised he got that win over Jiang Lee. He did cut the range off and then got in Lee's face and then pretty much KO'd him. So I was a bit surprised there, and Fernie Garcia's got a KO. So I am going to go with Gomis here. I think Gomis' footwork, and he's going to stay at range and not let Amil get in his face. And just going to be, might be a bit of a boring fight. Might be a point fight for decision. So yeah, Gomis is a pick here, 78%, 22% Amil. But if Amil gets a knockout, good on him. But it's not going to be that easy. He's pretty hard to hit, Gomis, to be honest. So Gomis is a pick here. Next up, we've got Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. I don't know why this is a co-main event, to be honest. Like, I understand the style of fight, but it's honestly, they're both not that great. So Cody Brundage has a weird record. He had no contest. Blows in the back of the head against Abdul. Then he lost to Bo Nickel. He did okay, then got submitted. Zach Reese, he slammed Zach Reese and got a TKO win. Kind of like a fluke win in a way. And then Jacob Malcolm, disqualification, legal blow back of the head, then lost to Cedrus Jumas. If you put it this way, this is the only one that he's got a legit win, Zach Reese. He pretty much, that fight against Jacob Malcolm was out grappling as well, took him to the ground. So he doesn't really have one proper legit win. He's not a good fighter at all. So yeah, he's more of a grappler than a striker, to be honest. So, but a lot of his footage has been cut short because it's always disqualifications or no contest or whatnot. So going against someone like Julian Marquez, maybe Marquez could get a win here. He's more of a striker, throws some bombs, overloads his striking. But he has been knocked out by Zach Reese, then got finished by Marc Andre, then got finished by Rigor Rodriguez. Sam Alvey's last win, which was a long time ago, almost 4 years ago. So he does have some nice submissions there on his record, but more of a guy that likes to stand and bang and trade a lot of shots, and defensively he can get tagged up a lot there. So, well, I don't know. I don't know who to pick because they're both not that good. Like, if this fight doesn't hit the ground, I could see Marcus maybe getting Cody Brundage out of there, but they're both shit. So I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't want to even pick Brundage either because he's dog water too. Marcus is not looking that great as well, so I don't know. I was gonna put out. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Marcus here. I don't know. I'll probably go. Yeah. Fuck it. I'll go Julian Marcus here. If he gets KO'd by Brundage or submitted by him, I'll be pissed. But I'm gonna go Julian Marcus here. Hope he gets the win. I don't like Cody Brundage either. He's dog water. Anyways, Marcus is a pick there. Julian Marcus, slow confidence. If you guys are against it, like, go, what the fuck? It's understandable. I don't even care about that fight because they're both dog water. So it's fine if I don't get that one right. Anyways, main event time, Manel Kape versus Asu Almabayev. Kape here, he's coming off a win against Bruno Silva. Got a TKO win over there, so more of a guy stays at range and mixed up some leg kicks and looking for counters. Did come up a loss there against Makayev. Makayev pretty much did win that fight and then pretty much lost his job there. So problem with Manel Kape here is, as much as he's a very good striker and he switches stance a lot and he gives different looks there and looks for counters, output sometimes can go against him. And when he does throw, I've said this before, he does throw a lot of spinning shit in the pocket and then does get taken down. Even though he did stuff some takedowns against Makayev there, he did look alright. But yeah, I'm a bit hesitant with the output with Manel Kape, but he's definitely going to be, I do feel like he's going to be a better striker than Asu in this matchup. Asu Almabayev, even though he's coming off a win against Nicolau, he did not look good in the striking. He threw very little output, like fuck all significant strikes in that first round. Like I think it was 4 or 5. And then the last round he got a takedown against Nicolau. But other than that, on the stand up, he's more than happy just to stand there and throw hardly anything and look for counters and then just look for openings to get his takedown. So that was a very, very boring fight against Nicolau. He was just striking wise, he doesn't throw much output. Yeah, and he'll be looking to get the fight in the ground. So yeah, he's more of a wrestler grappler, but striking wise, come on, man, you gotta throw more. And Manel Kape, like, yes, it was a fun fight, but even if you see that last fight, He just doesn't throw much leg kicks. He needs to start throwing more leg kicks, throw more output to get some wins. Like, I feel like that's how he lost the Marquez fight. If you see that fight, Marquez was throwing a lot of leg kicks and Kape was just eating them. So he gave away some rounds just eating the leg kicks, even though Marquez didn't really throw much with his striking. Like, boxing wise, he didn't throw much with his hands, but threw more leg kicks. So yeah, Kape does need to throw more. Yes, he's a counter striker, but he needs to throw more. He needs to add more leg kicks in his arsenal, to be honest, to get the win. But yeah, I'm gonna get Kape here, but yeah, I just feel like his output is a little bit not there in his last couple of fights. So yeah, Almabayev 42%, Kape 58. Like, Kape, if his takedown defense holds up and he doesn't do spinning shit in the pocket, doesn't give away some rounds, he could get this win. But if he does shit like that, then he could lose this fight potentially. So Manel Kape is the pick here. Anyways, guys, that was my picks for the card. We'll be back with UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. But yeah, so anyways, those are my picks. I do apologize. There's a lot of background noise here with the neighbors and the dogs and all that shit, so I do apologize. So anyways, guys, we'll be back with that card. Those are my picks today. Hit the like, subscribe, and we'll be back for more content. Cheers, guys.